Oh, ha, adventurers! You come again? Well, welcome. Shawshank Adventures. Kick back, relax. Today, one of our party members may actually survive. This week's episode brought to you officially and unofficially. Actually, there's no correspondence at all except for I'm drinking Old Forester, a great bourbon. Go out and try it. Old Forester, if you're listening, I'll take a free bottle for advertising. But last time on Shawshank Adventures.
Last time on Shawshank Adventures, after Xander and Nameana disappeared, the party looked around, and a doorway opened to the side. Going through, they saw two figures wrapped in mummied clothes, laying in two sarcophagus-like containers. Above one of them was a mound of flesh speared through with some kind of scepter. Blood continued to drip from this mound onto the creature beneath it. After a quick lightning bolt from Super, and then a quick inquiry, they discovered that the two figures were actually Xander and Nameana. Cutting them free, they looked no worse for wear, except Xander appeared much, much older. In fact, around 80 years older. Nameana, breathing on his own, still not awoken, but yet he is back from the grave. And along comes two hags, not just the one that we've met, but another one, unfamiliar with the party. Words ensued. Slashes were made. However, no indirect fight was given, and a quick prayer from Shotutatu, and the party was teleported away, safe from the angry hags. And that's where we'll pick up today, because A, I don't know what's going to happen, you don't know what's going to happen, but let's make it happen together on tonight's Adventures in Shawshank.
So tonight, we've got a lot in store. What will happen? Well, as always, your DM has no clue. I have planned something absolutely obscure just in the hopes that you don't go that way. But let's find out after our official song.
I will sharpen my axe on my enemy's face.
Hello, Sonia, my love.
Hey, where's that gold at?
What are we doing here, man?
Jesus, Jehoshaphat! Where did this fucking hat come from?
Come on, Conan. Let's go.
It feels good to be back.
Oh, that'd be so cool. Make surfboards with my bunyip.
Shall I play you a tune?
I don't even care about the gold anymore.
Nameana, we'll start with you. You're sitting with your family, all enjoying an evening meal. The heartiness of the contagious laughter between you and Levesque, your younger brother, erupting from your belly. The innocence on his unscarred face was a relief to you, and is a relief to you. Your mother even chiming into the laughter in contrast to your father's more stern face. But even behind that, you can still see a joy in his eyes. Will you just pass the butter, Nameana? Your mother says in a cheerful voice while rolling her eyes.
Of course, Mom. I pass it joyfully.
Loosen up, you old fuck. We're having a good time. Life is good.
Yeah.
Nameana, describe to us the feelings you get seeing this for a second.
Um, first, like looking around, I noticing my family together and myself being a younger age. I don't really question it. I just am happy to see my family together and me with my family. And at first, it is confusing, but I kind of just look past that ominous feeling and just live the moment.
Something that you've probably craved. And just as you
Very
hold
much.
on to that, thinking that this is right, this is what it should be, a haze comes over your vision. Your eyes are closed just as you get a nudge in the ribs lightly. You open one eye, and there's a familiar face of Totem Bowman. You were taken back at first. You are older and leaner. Opening your eyes, you realize your legs are crossed, as is his. As you're attempting a meditation, but struggling to keep your focus.
I told him I can't focus. Something bothering me. Something isn't right.
Peace, young one. Let it go, observe it, and let it leave your body. Focus on your crucible. You've done this before.
When did we get here?
Focus, Nameana.
Yes, sir.
You close your eyes, trying to focus on the meditation, your breaths. Your chest starts to itch, and you try to hold it back. You don't want to disturb Bowman's meditation himself. He's a father figure of sorts to you. As you can't hold it back anymore, you break up into a fit of coughing. Again and again, you cannot seem to control it. You feel guilty, ashamed, but it just takes over your body, unlike any cough you've ever had, until your eyes open. And behind a thicker layer of fog, you're on all fours, coughing up a clot of blood onto the dirt floor. Looking up, you hear a roar and a ringing in your ears as you're in a fight pit, probably closer to the age of 19 or 20. The abandonment of your father figure, newly acquired, still fresh in your soul. Totem Bowman had left the monastery for unknown reasons. The raw lack of closure has left an anger in you that does not seem to be quenchable, but it doesn't stop you from trying. You can recall this particular fight very vividly.
Mm-hmm. He was a larger orc. He was brownish red skin. Looked like he was just filled with anger. He was tough. A lot tougher than I was. I was young and naive and wanted to get my anger out some way and coughing that blood on the floor. I remember not winning this fight. I remember being beaten pretty badly.
And as you looked up, you also did see sighted eyes, yellow that have set upon you. And the recollection of what happened after this fight pulls you from the moment of being in it for a second, realizing that this isn't now, this is something that had happened before. That was a fight that gained you notice. Maybe it was the lack of giving up and the drive to fight an opponent you were completely outmatched against. But they had to pull you out of the ring.
Mhm.
There's no way he could stop you without killing you. Blink again, a very dark scene in your vision. Behind a dark screen in your vision, you hear the searing and sting of the brand. A proud moment you have finally earned something good, something that puts you toward your goal, the only real goal that you have left. You are part of the Ascentus.
This is a great honor.
Describe that feeling to us.
After being pushed down multiple times and only finding one thing that I was good at, two things that I'm good at, being sneaky and being in a fight, becoming a part of the syndicate, the Ascentus, was a sense of achievement. While I didn't thrive in the monastery, I thrived in a kind of life of crime um, that really gave me a different outlook on purpose on what I could possibly do and how I could use this newfound organization as a means to find something more near and dear to my heart, like my family.
This memory, one of the most vivid as well, but the sight of it obscured by a shadow, it seems.
Hmm.
Darker than the last memories. As you turn around, your vision changes, the lighting of the world around you changes as you feel a heaviness in your arms. As you see Sparkmaster's limp body and the gates of Ironton behind it as you're approaching. He's a friend, the only friend you've allowed yourself to have for many years. Lost. The devastation in your heart pumping fumes from your soul, previously locked away, hoping you do not lose him as well, for if you do, you are surely cursed.
The the memory of my brother telling me, "Don't leave me alone, don't leave me alone," just ring at that point, and I remember that vividly. Where looking at Sparkmaster, and I left him, and in turn, it cost him his life. Feeling like it's my fault. I could have been there to do something. I could have been there to change it. It just rings through my head at this point.
Now, as that ringing is happening, it snaps into silence as a whip cracks in your head. An absolute numbing sensation comes across you as a darkness surrounds you, a darkness that you feel like you can't escape, a darkness that is you. You can sense right in front of you hundreds of people with you, moaning and crying.
God. Hello?
We don't pay for you to talk. And then you hear next to you a familiar voice. You don't pay us at all. Ha! You still haven't broken him, Chad. Don't worry. Today I will. You feel the thrashes of these on your back as you feel your hands wringing out some sort of a damp cloth substance. But the pain in the blisters of your palms so severe, twisting and twisting against these blisters. More! Until a feeling of intense pain comes over you as you feel the palms of your hand slide off your flesh as you twist the rags. A crack on your back that no longer has the same sting. There are no breaks here. Strain the tar or die. It's all happening in blackness. And just as you hear that, you hear a whimpering voice. too faint to hear. Where are you? You try to focus in on it as it's repeating itself. Then you finally hear it. Brother, brother, where are you? And as that crack happens, your eyes bolt wide open. Still darkness completely surrounding you. Your hands bound, but loose enough. You begin to wiggle. The smell of burnt. Confusing as it's not as poured as it was. Maybe you are stuck in between places, stuck in between heaven and hell. As the wraps are unfurled around you, you see Super.
Super? What the hell's going on?
Holy shit! I almost fried you with lightning.
What?
It's okay. It's
Better-
okay. You're all right.
Better lightning than ice knife.
Oh, shut up, Sparkmaster.
Nameana, it's so good to see you. Holy shit.
Can I still see or can I not see it at all right now?
Yeah, those ribbons get unfurled, and you go through a moment in time where some witches and cackling women come intimidate your party. An intense showdown of great tension happens around you. You even see Red Cloud with a really sexy lady.
I concur.
Again, you're unsure if this is another memory that you have just less familiar with or not. As suddenly walls of stone come about you and you're transported out into a plain desert. No trees but in the distance, and red sand all around you and your pod.
Where the hell are we?
It seems to be of show's direction.
Show's yelling, "Where the hell are we?"
Alright, at least I'm not the only one lost.
The last the party remembers is Show asking his genie to get him out of there. There was a moment where the genie asked him if it was him who wanted to leave or if he were to bring everyone. As the witches lay in front of you, seemingly having you trapped in a cavern and cave where Nameana was resurrected due to Xander's noble action. You're now in the desert altogether. There's a lot that unfurled in the past episode, and I'm not going to run through all of that now. But with conversation with Nameana, you might be able to reminisce amongst yourselves what the hell happened and where the hell you are.
So,
Nameana, is there an afterlife?
did I die?
Yeah, you seem pretty dead for a little while.
Okay, then.
You were definitely dead.
Maybe he was only mostly dead.
I don't know.
I would say he was mostly, if not all, dead.
Well,
You
well,
were
welcome
starting
back.
to stink.
Do you,
Thought I
do you,
always stink.
As you look over to Xander, you notice big bags under his eyes, and as he talks, even the voice is that of an older man, um, well into his ages. Um,
I'm sorry. Who are you?
Now you could say I was Xander's father, but I think I'm older than him now. It's good to have you back.
Xander, I appreciate you. What happened though? You look really old and you stink like old people.
It it appears that in the contraption that these hags sent us to that it was part of my life force that fueled yours to come back. But it was worth it. You were a good man, and you're only here to try to take care of your family and find them. And that's a noble cause. Family is always a noble cause.
Thank you, Xander. How can I repay you?
We'll get to that later.
Okay. Show to your question. If there is, it's full of whipping and charring dirt. It feels like to the
That's
point where your
horrifying.
hands. Yeah, it was terrible.
I wish I didn't ask, but thank you
Yeah.
for being honest.
Yeah, honest. Yep. Anything for you, bud.
Yeah, no problem.
You also seem to relive your memories too, so that's the nice part.
Nameana, you are probably pretty tired.
Yeah, Nameana, how are you feeling right now?
That's a good question. Do I feel fatigued by any means?
you feel a little bit like this might be a dream. There's just a sense of confusion about absolutely everything that was happening. Um, Specifically, that you saw Red Cloud just go and dip at some point before, and these witches didn't seem to mind. It seemed very dreamlike and unreal in that sense.
Well,
Just the state of affairs of your memories you just ran through have you questioning things, at least partially. Um, Fatigue, no,
okay.
no fatigue, but you do see Soomper in a very uneasy condition.
Okay. I'm just not sure what's right now real because I just jumped through like 5 or 6 of my most fond memories. I pinched myself to make sure I'm like actually awake, and of course, and okay, I'm definitely awake.
Can Super come up and slap him across the face?
Yeah, Super comes up in a very bold, his eyes kind of half closed, stumbles a little bit to the left, looks down, and just across your face.
Okay, all right. I just pinched myself, but
Well,
thanks, Super.
if you relived your memories, is this one of them?
I don't. Oh, shut up. I don't know. This seems new to me.
It's new to me too. So,
By the way, quick question: where is Braggle? Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, where's Aster?
Aster is alongside you.
Oh, there he is.
Braggle is as well.
Oh,
Would Braggle like to say anything? You do have two different voices. This does become a little bit of acrobatics, but go for it.
Oh man, this is gonna be hard. I'm not a voice actor, so this isn't particularly easy. But well, it's night. Oh, okay, thanks, Seth. Thanks for the spotlight. But Braggle will go to Nameana and be like, "Oh, so this is who we're bringing back." And so, who are you? I don't want to do this. This is going to take a lot of effort. But basically, introductories happen.
This is Braggle. We Show met him while locked up in a prison, I believe, and when we broke out Show, we broke out the Braggle as well, and he definitely assisted in our getting away from a few pretty nasty guards. However, we can't really go back there anymore, at least not for a while.
Okay. Well, thank you, Braggle, for
But
helping.
he's a man of the forest.
Oh.
He agreed to help us out for a little while. I'm not sure how long he wants to stay. He's welcome to travel with us from here on out. But
I appreciate it.
He's very bear-like.
Shoo!
God bless you.
Cats.
Oh. I take a couple steps back from him. So I guess the party can't stay with him, apparently.
Braggle, do you recognize the area we're in now?
Yes. I think we passed here before. Just on our way to that resurrection tomb thingy-mabob. You can see it right over there. I think our tracks are just south of here.
Excellent. Well, if my memory serves me, that means we're north to Shore Shack.
South to Shore Shack.
If memory serves me correct, by looking at this map that we have and where you said it was at.
Big red dot.
North to Shore Shack?
South to Shore Shack.
Is this north? Or are we upside down?
I can't actually read maps.
Well, all right. Well,
big red circle or big red dot, Braggle? Oh, there we go. Okay.
So I believe we'll call south north for now. South to Shore Shack is where we'll go.
Aster, I have a question for Aster.
Yes, sure, Tutatin.
What's the
on your mind?
Let me think. What did they call it? The glutton. Is that the glutton in there? That's the glutton in there. I'm worried that it might rise again. Do you know anything about what those hags were up to?
I don't generally deal with witches. There's much more pressing matters on my mind. But where did you see this glutton?
Written all over the walls. I think it said glutton. I don't know. I didn't really know how I could read it, but it said the glutton shall not rise again or something like that everywhere.
The room that was spewing blood.
Yes.
Yes. There is something peculiar about that, for sure, and a puzzle to be solved. I just solving so many puzzles right now. I have nothing that will tip you off to what that was. I just pray that though we stop the blood from pouring out, that we stop some sort of an evil ritual instead of unleash one.
But Aster, we left the hags in there. What is preventing them from resuming the ritual? I have to assume they're up to nefarious purposes.
Sparkmaster, do you know of this ritual?
I know nothing about this ritual. I've never seen it before.
What ritual are we talking about?
But it seemed I detected evil in that chamber.
Those women were not just women. I've met some nasty women in my day, but they had something extra sinister about them. Maybe it was the laugh. I do not know if squashing that bleeding corpse was something they expected or something they'd rather have not had. I know nothing of the ritual. I'm sorry I cannot be of help. I just hope this doesn't snowball into some greater thorn in the side of this island, which is already falling apart.
Indeed, it seemed that those women needed us to get in, which is why they sent us there to resurrect Nameana.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And
it
they
seems like
played their hand very well.
Vander, you made a great sacrifice, and I did not piece this together beforehand, or I would have given you forewarning. But it seems like they selected you because you had love, and through that love, you sacrificed to bring back a friend. I have a funny feeling that those ladies have not loved anything but themselves, for a long time at least.
I love all animals.
Well, maybe that's why they were not able to get through.
That's
Not so much.
surprising. I've seen you decapitate more creatures than anybody I know. But with the love, is fiery and passionate, I guess.
Love is complicated.
Love is complicated indeed.
And love has given me a sore back.
You just hear,
Oh, man.
I wonder if there's a way I can use this against Cecil when we get back to Ironton. Speaking of Ironton, is that our next stop?
We should get there. We can go through a tree, right?
Only if he plants one.
Only if he plants one. Aren't there any trees accessible to us anywhere? Anywhere in the wilderness out here?
Alabast,
Alabast?
closest one.
Is it in Alabast proper?
Yeah, it's in Esther and Egbert's backyard.
Uh-huh.
yes, that's a magnificent tree, by the way. I'm glad you used one for my household. This would be nice, considering we're not really allowed in Alabast. We can pop directly to my home. If there are any resources we need, without having to pass in and out of the gates.
But that's if we planted another tree here. Right?
Could we do that?
Is there? Well,
Well, I mean, we could, but we're in the middle of nowhere, and why would we ever come back here?
Well, I just mean hypothetically, we could plant a tree wherever we were if we decided Alabast was off limits for us. We didn't want to have to chance sneaking into Alabast.
Right, but if we planted a tree, we could just go straight to Ironton.
Exactly.
Well,
We
or
could
at
just
least
plant it somewhere useful, I guess.
at least a day out of Ironton. I believe our problem that we spoke of before was there was only 2 seeds left.
well, I think that looking at where we've planted some of those trees, if we've been keeping track of where some of them are at.
Super, you planted 5 of them already? Super.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's on a magic call.
welcome back, Super. Super needs some rest. He looks a little out of it.
I'm not wrong there. He looks like he's about to fall over.
All right. Well, I guess maybe then back to Shoreshek.
I wonder if we should. We can't go back. We don't want to go back to Alabast. We don't have a tree closer. I wonder if we should plant a tree at a place where we may want to return to. maybe where we left the hags.
No.
We go back to Ironton.
I would second a trip to the Hag Cave, if whatever you want to call it, for no other reason but to put a ward and try to seal them in there. I think, Xander, you and your friends are onto something, and the more we talk about rituals and bloodlust and things like this, I would rather at least put a hurdle in their way so we can focus on solving bigger issues.
Well, if they are in there, is there a chance, do you think, we could beat them back to their own home?
We seem to already have a head start if the resurrection temple is that way.
Are you saying you know some magic you want to put on their cave that we could do?
I have a few gadgets, but I was thinking just a cave in would be nice.
Hmm.
Speaking of which, I talked about pressing matters. Well, I've been keeping some things from you all. Egbert got a distress call from an old friend. As we expected, something horrid has been happening beneath the surface here on this island that you have seen the outcomes of at least. Only this is faster than we expected. Several lines of defense have been sacked unnoticed on the tunnels of Mithril Peak. Someone with grand power, subtlety, is attempting to break into the vault.
Is it the Great Ferrator?
It very well could be. Or somebody even grander.
What do you know about the Great Ferrator?
He's a selfish orc that mix, a hybrid between a white dwarf and an orc. That alone is a recipe for disaster, but he's known across Aussie, as well as other continents, to run in the Underdark, but betraying his own white dwarven kind, selling them at the highest price he can afford. He is a man of power, but no allegiance. He offers them for any task, but most commonly malicious, and armies for hire. I'm not sure exactly why they follow him, because he is nothing but a betrayer, or so his reputation precedes him. I've never met the man or anyone he's dealt with personally, but that's word on the street.
Does he reside on the island or off the island?
I've never heard of him being anywhere near this island.
But there's a lot on the western part of this island, isn't that right?
Yes, I venture to the western part of this island quite often. That's where the orc strongholds are and their whole kingdom. It's mostly a vast desert. Little to no dwarves over there. I don't think the orcs would appreciate it much, unless they're men of Ironton talking on official business.
Well, if you've been there, do you fly there? How do you get there?
Yes.
So perhaps you can show us on this map where they're located.
Where the trees are located?
No, where the orc encampments are located. Where have you been on the western side of this island?
I I've not been
75
on
years.
the
Do what?
Soompa. He's talking to me. Don't worry. We'll
Oh,
get you
I
some rest
I'll
soon.
make some, okay. Sorry.
Take a rest. Sit down. I've been on this island for over 80 years. I've explored pretty much every crevice.
I've been 80 years in the past 2 hours, so I feel like we're kind of equal.
Very unfortunate. But you look good, Xander.
Thank
You
you.
always have,
I
and
feel strong.
you always will. I could even take you to the Orc encampments if you'd like to go. I know Gux Brock and the leaders over there, and they are just as concerned about Mithril Peak as, well, I am. We are working
So,
to get Ironton aboard on figuring out deeper in what's going on, and I know the King, Irmar, has employed you to do just that.
so are you saying the orcs are not responsible for this?
They are not.
They're only mercenaries.
Work for Julian or whoever Julian's working for.
So Gutsbrock is the leader of one of the orc encampments?
Yes, Major Orc City. He used to be a military leader before politics, but inherited the treaty with Ironton.
And you've already informed King Irmar that the orcs are not responsible.
Correct. King Irmar knows. He sent a scouting party, a political entourage, if you will, over there shortly after you left. I take it that they have reached New York City and have messaged back. I let Gus Brock know that they were coming. He
Well,
said welcome them with open arms. But whatever's going on this island, the sharing of knowledge is in everyone's best interest. Now, there might be a misconception on orcs. In the past, it's been true 800 years ago. But on this island, they stay separate, with mutual respect for each other. There are squabbles here and there, but there is not the hatred that there once was, or there is no prize that they're both competing against.
then why has the road never been completed?
What road is this?
The road between Ironton and Alabast.
The one that Julian keeps saying he's building.
Yes.
He seems to be building a road. It's only a part that goes to the mountains. I know of no plans to go further north than that, nor have they started construction.
Is that why he did not want his daughter going to Ironton to start construction from Ironton down?
What is this you speak of, Xander?
Were you not aware that his daughter was in Ironton discussing building a road from Ironton to Alabast?
She wants to surprise her dad, so Gabriella is building a road from Ironton to meet his in the mountains.
Oh, I did not know, and Gabriella does get around a little bit. She has great political ambitions. You had me very confused there until you said surprised her dad. I assure you, from what I know of Julian, there was no intention to ever build anything from Ironton down.
So Ironton to Alabast is just a pretext for Alabast to Mithril Peak.
I fear that so.
I don't think it was a pretext. He just said he was going to build a road into the mountains and didn't tell anybody why. I don't know if he ever intended to finish it.
Well, wasn't there always rumors that the the mountains were too tough and that they were getting slaughtered and that they couldn't finish the road through the mountains. But it sounds like they finished the road to exactly where they wanted to go.
So if all of these parties are concerned about what's happening on the island, what now would it take for them to marshal a force against Julian?
Remember, Julian isn't the head.
He's not the head, but we know he's involved at the very least.
What
And as it stands right now, we're just waiting while this pulsing piece of meat in this mysterious cave is undergoing some dark magic, and who knows however many else evil schemes Julian's got and the great Ferator that are up to. This is just what I would ask the king if we were in Ironton.
Then maybe we should probably make that way towards Ironton. I think that honestly, it would be a great idea to plant a tree here, just in case if we need to get back down the south as in a quick fashion.
I would say you're on the right track, but I would say we should plant it closer to where this cave and rituals is located. I think that if we get close to where these hags are up to no good, it would allow us to get back quick. If
But
we
we're
find
right
something
outside this cave. So would we want to plant it here or closer to the hag's cave?
Wait, which cave are we outside again?
The one where the regeneration was taking place.
Okay.
Let's not do it anywhere near the hags. Wait, are the hags there? Can the hags hear us talk?
No, the hags are in the temple, presumably.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Super. We've made our way to the desert. We've made our way to the desert due to some forces and being that Sho is aware of. By the way, Sho, what is up with that?
All right.
What is it with that?
Yeah, how did we get here?
Who is it you serve?
I don't know. That's the truth. I got powers from them, and I needed powers to survive.
Uh-huh.
So I use the powers first to his ends and increasingly to my ends. I don't know who he is, but seems sort of genie-ish, I guess.
So this genie supplies you with the ability to shoot force blasts out of your hand, basically?
Yes. It was with great embarrassment that I might have to admit almost all of my magic powers. I still have the magic of my circus performance, and then maybe a couple other magical things I learned from my tutor, Totem something. But besides that, everything comes from the genie.
Totem?
Totem, yeah, Totem something. He was a sort of almost druidish, but he was the only person I knew who was very druidish when I was coming up in the orphanage back in the monastery when I was a youngster. But maybe this isn't the time for me to reminisce this. What I mean to say is there's a genie in the mix.
Well, let's not let him out of the bottle.
Well, he did just save all of us, to his credit.
No, I'm not mad at him. I believe
kinda,
we owe him greatly.
Is this going to be one of those we owe him now kind of situation, or?
I don't think you guys are engaged in any kind of pact with him. That's all on me, as far as I know. He seems reasonable.
I have two questions for you. One is a question of character. You have lots of friends here who all have powers that they've earned and have worked hard to achieve, whether it be an understanding of this world or sufficient study, practice with a sword. Why not just learn things instead of taking the cheap way out?
I did learn things, Aster. You don't understand me. You don't understand Sho. You don't understand where Sho came from. I had to learn things just to survive. I didn't have the luxury to learn spells. I didn't have a tutor who put armor on me and gave me a sword and taught me how to fight. I had to learn how to survive and eat. That's it. That's all I had time for. I've worked hard to survive. And I may not have learned these spells, but I think I've earned these spells.
Why did you turn from this this totem character? He had a place, apparently. Something with nature. Why not stick with him?
Totem seemed outnumbered by all the rat bastards out there. He was good, but he wasn't in charge of this monastery. He merely attended it and looked out for me. And I think he left after some time on some kind of a mission. But my memory's fuzzy about that long ago.
Let me help you, if I can. He reaches out his hand kind of at your head. Do you mind, Sho? I know you already have someone in your head and might not want another, but I may be able to help with the fog in your head.
Sho takes a deep, cleansing breath, probably very nervous about several entities being in his head, and then shakes his head no to the question he doesn't mind.
He puts his hand on your head, kind of like a Vulcan mind meld, because that's cool, and sticks it there, and then starts humming in his own voice. Suddenly, like lights start to flash as your eyes close, almost forced closed, as you start to siphon through memories, almost in search of something. Um, a vivid memory comes about, one that's a crux of who you are, something that's you built some sort of a foundation of a piece of who you've become stacked on this foundation. You actually remember still carrying a hood given to you by Totem Bowman. As you've gone off to the woods for a final lesson of sorts, you found that he was ill and was about to perish. He took you on some journey and a final lesson and left that hood with you as he vanished in the morning, unknowing to you whether he was actually ill, dying, or just had to get away from the monastery. You never completely found out. His tracks were untraceable in the morning, even though you were skilled. But he left a gift with you.
Ah, yes. Totem Bowman. Sho recalls. He's holding onto his hood, which he still has.
You know Toad Bowman.
I knew Totem Bowman. He
Wow.
disappeared. You knew Totem Bowman?
Yeah, I did. He
When did you
disappeared
meet?
too.
When did you know Totem Bowman? How long ago?
Oh, God, this is probably 15. I think about, let me double check my age real quick before I say anything. About 15 years ago, 15, 16 years ago, I knew Totem Bowman. He was he was like my mentor at the monastery that I was at.
Oh, shoot. You were at the same monastery I was at? Wait, was there a terrible headmistress?
Yeah.
Ruining your day?
Yeah.
Yeah, what was up? What was her problem?
Dude, she was a dick.
Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, okay. You know that rock in the corner there by the grass and the trees and the next to the door?
There's a lot of rocks next to Drassus trees and
Okay,
doors.
yeah.
But which one are you
But
talking
anyway,
about?
Same. I think it's the same. It sounds like the same
Wow.
monastery.
That's
This guy's
insane.
bouncing around monasteries. It's also possible.
That's also true. But yeah,
How did you get here?
I have a lot of friends. I'm like I said on a mission, and I've been traveling a lot since I would start my time at the monastery.
Traveling through cards, or more like on boats?
We boat to get here, but to get to other places, I've been carts, and then to shore shack I got, or to Ironton I got via boat, of course.
So we're still in the same world. I didn't know that I came here through a deck of magical cards. I didn't know where I was. I thought I might have been in a dream or in purgatory or something like that.
I don't want to talk about dying again.
Yeah, too soon. You're right. Now I know I can get back home. Not that there's anything there for me.
The monastery was your home?
Well, for a while, until I aged out and had to go make a living for myself.
Yeah. That's insane.
Well, that is an insane coincidence.
Very. There's a fight pit right outside of that, right outside of the monastery.
A what?
There was a fight pit right outside of that monastery.
A fighting pit?
Yep.
That seems surprising. I wouldn't have noticed that. Wow.
Well, it was in the town neighboring the monastery, but I would go there all the time. And when I think I was like 16 when I started going. And one of the days that I went, Totem decided to appear as my opponent in the fighting pit and beat the shit out of me, dude. He knocked my socks off.
It doesn't sound too surprising for some reason. He seemed very capable.
Yeah, no, he was surprising. I think I rolled a natural 20 and I still got my ass beat.
What does this roll natural 20 mean?
It's an expression that I've heard before, Aster. I think it means I did very well.
Yes, Sparkmaster, you don't seem to roll many of those.
Yes, indeed.
Carry on the metaphor.
I have the opposite problem, whatever they call that.
Nerd burn.
Snake eyes.
A coincidence indeed. Nameana, I think we should dig into why you're here, especially with your shared background. You don't serve a genie, do you?
No, I don't serve a genie. I'm here looking for my family. I heard I got a take that they might be an Aussie, and I was kind of making this a stop before heading back out.
Good to note, and we'll get back to that. So my second question, and it was a pleasure hearing you all reminisce, and I did not want to interrupt. Finding you guys had history together was very fascinating from a curiosity standpoint. But my second question to you, Sho, is what does your genie want with this album?
I don't know. I don't know what he wants. He's just what I've used to survive. I'm just surviving here. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Aster. But he hasn't hurt me, and he hasn't hurt any of you. He seems to have problems on an ethereal plane. And I don't doubt that he's aware of what's happening on this island. But it doesn't seem like he has stopped me from doing what I think is preventing the nefarious acts on the island. So that leads me to believe that he is not interested in them taking place.
I think that is important. Let us not judge Sho too harshly for any decisions he's made in the past. I don't get the sense that his genie is a particularly malevolent benefactor. And Sho is clearly using the powers bestowed upon him for good. There are much worse entities somebody could be indebted to.
Dum.
Like two bitches back there, huh? All right. All right. Sorry, ill time. So, you were talking about the king and why there had not been anybody putting a force together. I do know the rum runners, if you will, been trying to overthrow Alabast for some time in Julian's divorce of the guilds that used to run it. It was a real shame to find all the guild members dead in a cave up north who were remaining. But bad things have been happening, stacked one upon the other. There's been no proof, and I think still, no proof, to my knowledge, that Julian is really behind any of this, though the cards seem to be stacking against him. The only thing I have is this road, but it sounds like he either sent Gabriella, unknowing to her, to play distraction, or she did it on her own. But I have no smoking gun for him. Irmar has been looking for such, but also grows old in his age. He's holding on for no other reason but to make sure that this continues in the right direction and to find an heir. Do we have any smoking gun for Julian being involved at all in the newly found destruction that's going on underneath this island, which I have a strong feeling is tied to the mining of gems, but that's the loosest connection that I have. And not enough to pull an army together between two of the largest kingdoms on this island.
Well, we may have a note for connecting Julian to an assassination attempt, and I guess the rest of our evidence is our own experience.
I hear that a lot.
Hey, you may hear that a lot, but we're the heroes of Ironton. Give me a break here. The king asked me to do this. I'm doing this for a king.
I just say that Julian is a slippery motherfucker, a salamander, if you will. And Irmar is looking for every opportunity to politically justify spinning up an army.
Then why not just kill Julian?
Who
Who?
Who would do this?
I could do this.
You will do this?
I mean, can't we just kill him? If we just kill him, doesn't that cut the head off the serpent and the whole thing grinds to a halt?
Well,
wasn't Julian not the head?
Yeah.
Even if he's not the head, it'll take time for one to regrow.
Mm-hmm.
Things will be in disarray.
How difficult would it be to kill Julian?
Probably very
He's
hard.
a politician. How tough could he be?
Well, he's got Gloria on his side.
She's not around him all the time.
And also on top of that, it seems like Julian is able to control an entire city.
How would we get to him?
I mean, I don't think we've even seen Julian once, if I'm not mistaken.
I have.
So do we know he even exists?
Yes. Super, you've met Julian. You must have met Julian. I've met Julian.
Oh yeah, that was like forever ago, though.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Did you?
I remember now.
Do you remember anything about a bunch of people in the Merchants Guild getting slaughtered in a cave? By the way, is that what Astor said?
Yes, we found their bodies scattered about.
Anyways, never mind. Yeah, we knew Julian for a long time before we even realized he was up to any kind of nefarious schemes, and then we did, and then he tried to kill us.
So, I mean, if he tried to kill us, which I remember that son of a bitch, why don't we just try to kill him?
By the way, what was this note that you guys were talking about? I guess, is that the one where it was signed by someone? I have to remember
Yes,
which
we,
one it
we
was.
had a note with disappearing ink that was incriminated Julian on the person of the assassin. And don't think we ever discovered how to make the ink reappear, but we did keep the note, I thought.
That was when he bit his tongue off, the ink disappeared.
That's right.
Oh. Okay.
Well, your argument to go get Julian, I can't really argue with, to be honest, except for, as Nameana mentioned, that might be a very difficult task.
Well, I would say we send the cat in stealthily.
Okay. I've died once. I don't know if I want to do it again.
And he can yell surprise.
Nameana, you seem fearless.
Yeah, however, I'd like to,
Although
catch my breath, fresh air breath
your
for a little
fur
bit.
was black.
Is it not black? Is my fur not black? Please tell me it's still black.
Oh, my old eyes. Maybe I'm just seeing things, but Xander, well, your old eyes may be failing you. He seems black to me. Or maybe slightly grayish.
Maybe it's how the light was hitting him, but I thought there was a yellow or a white stripe down his back. But
Oh, right here? And he walks behind you, Nameana, and then just runs his hand right down your back.
Oh no! Please don't tell me there's a white stripe on my back. I start turning around to see if I can find it. I take my tail and I look at my tail.
And then you hear some cackling and laughter as you look up, and Xander and the druid kind of give each other nuts.
I fucking hate you guys. Oh, I fucking hate you.
Should
I
we
like
take
my black coat.
Should we take a vote on whether or not we want to go to this hag cave and cast a spell on it?
I mean, if it's on the way, might as well.
Super,
Well-
I guess it's up to you ultimately where the tree goes.
exactly.
I'm fine. I'm pretty much fine wherever it goes as long as the hags don't know where it's located. I understand I'm like the only person that can go through it with this incantation, but like fucking hags, man. I will never trust a hag.
I would recommend you not putting it in the face of these evil witches. Slimper is. Your roots are sturdy on this island. They really are. I think that
What about outside of Shore Shack? That way, if we ever need to come back, we're a couple hours from the hags and a day's travel from Alabast. But of course, we have a tree in Alabast, so we can always jump back into there.
That sounds
Shawshank seems like a good bet.
I think Shore Shack is the best bet. I don't want to risk.
It's been a
going back.
long time since I've been to Shore Shack.
Yeah, same. I think Shore Shack's the best bet.
Okay.
So we've got about a 2-day travel to there. Is that, if memory serves?
Correctamundo.
Well, then I suggest we get going. Nameana, are you up for a little travel?
Oh, I'm good. I'm ready to move. I'm actually excited to stretch my legs. I feel a little stiff.
Oh, well.
No, I'm not carrying you.
I suppose we should get going. I'll try to keep up with you youngsters. And just take off running.
Roll to see if you sprained your leg or something. Dislocate your hip.
And my hip.
Show's gonna follow him, trying to keep quiet.
Okay, so it's about 3 p.m. You can say that you noticeably see Super pretty exhausted. That being said, you're in the middle of a desert. You can go back kind of toward the dunes. Give me a path in a direction where you want to go, and we will be overland traveling.
Be north and a little bit east. So basically, back the way we came. We're going to go back through the briars or the little things that were growing up. Look for landmarks that we saw as we came down.
All right, so you guys can travel for a full 8 hours. Is the intention?
So Nameana just came back from the dead. I just got aged 80 years. Super looks a little worse for wear. I think maybe just travel till dark and take it easy from there. I'll set up the dome and we can relax a little bit. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to me.
I think it's a good plan.
I can carry one of you.
Carry Super. He's got the wee man legs.
if you want to, I think I can walk myself at this point. Here, I'll be right back. I need to come back in like 10 minutes or so. Sorry.
Okay. He turns into a white stallion, and you lay Super, who immediately falls asleep. You guys make your way up. Who is leading this? So with this travel, you could be doing something or you could be leading. Leading is doing something. If any of you guys want to do anything else along the entire journey here.
Is this considered forest area or is it considered desert?
Desert, and then you'll go up to dunes. You won't hit a good forest area. Yeah, I guess you will. So the red desert was kind of out of place even amongst all this. You do see trees around you. The red desert does stretch kind of along to the beach where you followed the hag's trail, the hag's direction. You went from the dunes until you found those red sands. You followed the stripe of desert all the way to this location. But there are woodlands north, and you could take the woodlands instead of the desert if you'd like.
Well, I know if we go through the woods, we won't get lost.
Yeah, let's take the woodlands. It might conceal our presence too. Still don't know what these hags are up to.
So let's do that. Let's go through the woods. Into the woods.
What's the deal? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask what the deal was with the whole hag agreement that we made at this point.
Well,
what hag agreement? This is the one where you guys agree. I'm speaking from Namina's perspective, as in Nameana doesn't.
Oh, so we had spoke with these hags who had told us how to find this sarcophagi that show. I believe you stumbled onto something. Doesn't Super have that doll?
Oh, I think he.
The doll that he's supposed to deliver to Julian to set on his pillow?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I do have that doll still. Sorry.
Perhaps that doll is going to play some key role into everything. He did make a pact with them that he would deliver that. I don't know what it means to break a pact with an ugly woman, but...
Well, maybe Super and Aster can address this. Maybe Aster has something to say about the doll, or you can infer something about it. But if we go into the woods, will you be leading, Xander?
If we go through the woods, I think I would be the best to lead.
All right. Well, I don't know. In that case, I guess Sho will just help Xander on the lookout of stuff. Need an extra set of eyes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to start looking through my stuff to make sure I have everything, and then realize that my note is missing. And I will probably walk up either to Sparkmaster. I probably would go, hey.
Before we jump into that,
okay.
Sparkmaster, what are you doing along the travels?
I would like to talk to Nameana.
Oh, okay.
Fucking perfect.
Wow.
So this works out very well.
Yeah, let's take a quick break. You can set it for 3 minutes if you have the ability to do so. I need to get cream for this delicious coffee and then come up with some other shenanigans that may or may not happen.
Cool.
Shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
All right.
Welcome back to Shore Shack, where we now have a reread random encounter table, just in case somebody decides to go overland travel across Shore Shack. With hell might just happen here. All right, gather your things together, for we have an adventure to depart on. We're going to Shore Shack. Is the path?
Yes.
Yes.
2 days travel with an exceptional guide. We'll wait till the rest of the party arrives. By that I mean everybody besides minus Slumber sleeping. Ooh. Oh god damn, that's so great.
I can hear you guys. I'm just not back in my computer yet.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
All right.
When I get back, I can turn the video
here.
back on.
All right. Once Sparky and Xander return, we shall do something.
Something. Not sure what, but something.
Oh, and for those of you watching, our sponsor, Old Forester. It's a magical bottle that slowly disappears in liquid volume that it contains. Watch the end of this episode. It might be polished off.
It might be gone.
Magic.
So as you were all
Want to
walking,
see me do a magic trick? Look.
What benefactor gives you that ability?
it's a
Watch me
magical
pull a
item.
rabbit out of my hat.
Yeah. So as you guys are moving through the woods, you find this old man who's guiding you. Xander still jumping around with maybe less spry, but an incredible amount of wisdom, telling you what things to avoid, what branches are going to creak and fall, what direction to take, even. Xander, do you want to give us a little rundown of certain things that might be keeping you from getting lost?
Well, you want to follow the game trails as much as possible. You know, they always lead towards water and towards the safest route because the animals aren't going to travel along routes that are dangerous. So we're going to follow the game trails as much as possible. And we're going to avoid any kind of areas that we believe might give a predator an elevated advantage on us.
Yeah, Sparkmaster even begins to pull in a certain direction. Xander says to halt. Braggle a little uneasy, smelling the air. It is a game trail. Braggle says, smells of carcasses. I agree with Xander. Let's go this way. You avoid something that most likely wasn't a good something as you continue forward. Normally, you would roll for being lost. But because Xander is guiding you, there's no need to roll. He's an excellent guide. As you're realizing this and wondering this, your awe eventually fades. Xander, sorry, good friend, and Sparkmaster, you and Nameana pick up conversation.
Nameana, I
Hello,
can't
dear
describe how good it is to see you here with us.
It's good to be back.
It's been several days since we
That's
thought
it.
you were gone.
To me, it only feels like it's been a minute. At most, it feels like a minute.
It was much longer. It was much longer, but I'm glad that you did not endure any pain for longer than that.
Yeah, it was definitely terrifying. But I'm glad to be with you. And in my memories that I saw while in the afterlife, I guess, that very fond memory of the wyvern attack came up. And I remembered how terrified I was about almost losing you. I'm glad we
That
didn't.
was a good memory, wasn't it?
Shut the fuck up, Super. Shut up, Super.
Indeed, we seem to have lost each other more than once on this adventure.
Yeah, it's been definitely an adventure. But I have a question. It seems that some of my belongings aren't in my possession anymore. Do you have any idea about where they might have gone?
I do not. I certainly did not take anything. What are there any particular belongings you are concerned about?
Well, I had this little tiny black vial, which I hope. Did any of you guys eat that or drink that? No.
I'm trying to remember.
I did not.
Huh?
I'm trying to remember if I did in that. I don't think so, though. I remember they gave me a vial, but I don't think I drank it.
Okay. And then I had a lot of diamonds. And I'm missing a note, a little piece of paper.
What was on the paper?
A bunch of scribbles, a bunch of lines, some dots.
I mean, writing?
Yeah, writing. Does anyone know? Do you know? Might know where those things are? Because I don't remember if those were put back. I don't think they were put back. Actually, I think someone held on to them.
I do not remember who wound up with what was on your person.
Well, I kind of need that note back.
Let us ask the party.
Yeah, I'll go up to Xander.
I assure you, I do not have it, and I do not know who has it.
I trust you, my friend. I go up to Xander and I'll start talking to him. Hey, bud. When I was dead, I had a note that was on me. Do you know where that's at by any chance?
I think at some point we did go through your pockets just to see if you'd taken anything off one of the desks. I believe Sho has it.
Oh, Sho.
Still looking out in the distance. Is very muted as he is very focused on the surroundings as you travel through the woods. No, not.
You sound very muffled
at all. But as you go forward, you do hear a wolves. As Xander, you have flashbacks into your past month of your encounter with wolves in these woods, and you know that they are not to be played with nicely, at least. Continue on.
All right.
Am I still talking to Nameana, or are we?
Yeah. I mean, as soon as you broke to talk to the other party, Nameana, but Sparkmaster, you can pull him back in before he does if you want.
Yeah, I pull Nameana back in.
Okay.
I maybe I slow us down a little bit so we're pulling a little bit behind the party. And I say to Nameana, I don't know how much you remember about your end, but I am overwhelmed with guilt over what happened to you in that cave with that thing that took your life.
It was a very, thanks. It was a very dark day, but I don't want you to feel any sort of guilt towards my death on your shoulders, because I knew that you would have done anything that you could to save me.
But that's where my heart weighs the heaviest, Nameana. I know we've talked before, and I don't know what's conflicting inside me, but I was compelled to seek out an object in that cave, and I can't shake the feeling that I could have saved you had I not been compelled and given in to the selfishness to acquire in that cave what I had acquired. And I was not there, and I came back, and you had already gone. And I have been unable to forgive myself for this since it's happened.
It's hard to hear that. But as of right now, it worked out in the end, as I'm still here, and it's what was so important?
It was a staff. I don't know fully what its meaning is yet, but I was compelled to possess the staff.
You can even pull out the staff and you see this
Yeah.
brilliant uh, golden staff with these very intricate runes kind of inscribed into the design of it, very flowy um, as it comes across. Runes that Nameana you don't understand or take note of. Align the crest kind of flowing up as it spins around. The end of it, an open, not circle, but almost an entire circle that goes around to two very sharp points in the top of the end of the staff. Um, it's not an incredibly long staff, as of nothing that Super would walk around with if Super was a fully formed human being, but he is just a half formed.
I take offense to that.
But it's not a walking staff by any means, but more of some decorative object that definitely seems
Like a scepter?
like it holds magic. Yes, you could say that, if you will.
This is the staff that I was compelled to acquire. Have you seen anything like this before?
This is. I do not delve into the realm of arcane by any means. This
Neither do I.
completely foreign to me. But, Sparkmaster, as hard as that was to hear, I forgive you nonetheless. And we can look past what happened and keep forging on as a team and as a group and as friends.
That means a lot. That means a lot. I don't know if I've managed to forgive myself yet, but it really does mean a lot to hear that from you.
Of
And
course.
I look forward to the next time our friendship is put to the test, and I will not fail the next test.
Don't worry about it. Nothing's gonna break us apart. We got here together. We're gonna get off together.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
During that whole conversation, as you're holding the scepter, if you will, Nameana, you notice his eyes continually kind of go toward the scepter. His face becomes very alive, almost in lust, in a way, as he looks up and utters the words that he says.
Okay. I'll keep.
Sparkmaster, you notice it as well.
I mean, I can't shake the feeling that there is a battle for good and evil being waged inside me. I know that there is evil there. The evil has spoken to me. I try to resist it, and I can most times, but it is there. At the same time, I know that there is still good reaching out to me. I heard Bahamut speak to me, and I feel that we have made some choices here on this island, and I feel that I need to prove loyalty to Bahamut by undoing some of the damage that we have done. I don't know how yet, but there is a path for justice and good. And I just pray that I am strong enough, and you and the rest of the party are strong enough to do the right thing when we face that path. I worry about some of the decisions we've made, some of the impact we've had, that I feel there might be time to undo it.
We're gonna get through it together. Don't worry. But that staff, have you shown that to anybody else yet? Have you really had anyone look into it quite yet?
I have not. You're the first person that I have shown. This I don't feel the staff is inherently good or evil. I feel it has the ability to be used for either, and this staff is my greatest shame right now. I haven't shown it to anyone else.
Well, maybe we should keep it between you and I for right now, and or maybe if you feel the necessary to figure out what it could be, we might be able to talk to someone else to see about the magic capabilities it does have. Because if it is something that could be used for good, we should probably try to use it for good.
Agreed.
But we could definitely.
I feel Aster might know, but alas, I don't fully trust Aster yet. He's a mysterious. He seems to be good, but I don't know if I feel comfortable sharing with him yet.
Hmm.
The way I feel comfortable talking with you.
Well, I understand. Maybe we can show some. Maybe Xander seems to know some arcane, and Super seems to know a little bit of the magic too. So maybe we could show them the staff at some other point when Aster's not around.
Agreed.
And maybe Show might know something too.
Show certainly seems like he has some secrets.
Yeah.
We all do.
We all do.
I don't really have any secrets, I guess. I'm pretty much an open book, Super is.
Sadly, Super, you must be talking to Xander because these guys are far behind the market.
Now, there is actually a conversation because Xander actually wanted to talk to Super as we were walking along.
Yeah, and Super's just walking like, I don't have any secrets. Like it says out loud.
Perfect segue.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not trying to find out anything. Well, actually, I do want to know something about a secret. Is there... I've gotten this taste of nature and this love for it. Is there... I feel like maybe you have some things that you could teach me. What... Can you perhaps share some of your druid knowledge with me? Perhaps show me one of your druid spells. Can you teach me anything?
I mean, I don't know, Xander. That's like a big ask. I could certainly show you spells. I can't really teach you how to like turn into an animal and stuff like that. But like, what would you want to learn?
Well, is there anything offensive you can do, like on a whim, like really quick?
Anything offensive I could do really quick? Like
Not offensive, offensive.
Offensive, right?
You are offending all the time, but I mean offensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, hey, check this out, and then I pick up some stones, my cantrip, and they start to kind of glow, and then I throw it at like a tree, and then it makes like a kind of a pop noise. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. Is there anything else?
I mean, do I have to do it? I mean, you've seen me do ice knife a million times.
In the background, you hear, yep, 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 yep.
Like, Hawk, a bunyip.
Don't we get gold for catching those?
Well, we're not doing that. We're not catching them though. They're cool. I'm in with the bunyips. Like, here, 1 second. And then I pull out my little ocarina thing and oh, I guess you can't hear it though. Normal ears can't hear this. Try to call the bunyip. Does the bunyip come?
How does that? As you go, you blow into this device that you pull out from your pack. After rummaging through it for probably some time, you come back up to Xander. Xander, I did find it, and Xander's focusing on guiding the party. You go into this device,
and a couple extra at the end too. But yes.
Well, that was lovely.
Yep. Much closer now. You all hear it.
Like, all right. You wanted to see me do something. I mean, did you want to see me do my ice knife again, Xander? I'll do it, and I think it might actually help signal the bunyip at the same time.
Oh no! I mean, ice knife is not something I don't think that's way beyond my means.
Well, these magic stones. I mean, these magic stones are great. And I throw the other two that I have. Pow, pow.
Well, is it
Like, what are you
Conan? Shh. He must have heard the wolves.
It's all right. Good boy. Good boy. And see if we get the little pet. But yeah, what are you looking for, Xander? I mean, I'm happy to help. I'm just not sure what you're looking for.
I remember seeing this druid one time being able to produce a cloud that just completely engulfed and choked him, and it was almost like he spewed poison at them.
Oh, yeah. That is a spell that. Let me see if I actually can know that one. I mean, I could definitely do it with. I mean, I could do like a fog cloud, right? But the stinking cloud, I did cast that once, but that was through my wand. Like that's not actually my ability to do so. I can't do that stinking cloud. That's what you mean?
Perhaps.
Why? What are you thinking, Xander?
I don't know. I feel like you have something to teach me, and if I could only remember what it's called, but perhaps another time. I just maybe I'll remember later on. Or is there a way perhaps that you as a druid can help somebody just by touch to make them better at something?
Well, I mean, I could cure wounds, so I can make them better at not dying. I could charm people. People have known me to be quite the charmer.
You are quite the charmer.
I don't know, man. I mean, you look. Like I said, I really want to help, but you're gonna have to kind of help me here. Like, I'm not sure what I can do. Like, what you're looking for.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to learn something. I mean, as a druid, do you just know certain things, or do you know everything, and then you just have to pick and choose? How's that work?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, there's like a number of different spells that I understand. Obviously, I have my favorites. Hashtag ice knife. But if I want to use them, like, on a particular, like, if I want to use different spells tomorrow, I'll have to meditate in the morning to basically, like, a quick meditation to attune myself to those spells and have them prepared.
Oh, that sucks. You can't just do it?
I mean, yeah, I can't, unfortunately. I hear what you mean, though. Like, it'd be awesome if I could just do every single spell.
What if you want to use something different that you haven't prepared in the morning? You're just stuck?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But yeah, I mean, I got like, I don't know.
How do you know what you're going to need that night when you start in the morning?
The stallion comes next to you, seems almost frustrated, wanting to talk. Man, hits you, and then eventually bursts into comment. Xander, this takes me a very large amount of mana to do, but I grow in frustration hearing you bickering back and forth with Sumper on technicalities of nature. What is it that you want from him?
Well, I actually kind of forgotten you were here, and you are a druid as well. I feel this pull with nature, and I thought perhaps you could teach me something. I was hoping Super could teach me, but I need to learn something. I feel like I can learn something.
I want to teach us the history of the island.
You're very muffled, Show.
Yeah, those. Try again.
1, 2, 1, 2.
You're still muffled.
Switch your mic to some other mic. I'm assuming that your Bluetooth switched your mic to something. But the horse nudges you again and says, I only have 12 more words to say. But I can...
12 more words? Okay.
He turns back into Aster. Super, you kind of fall. You were riding him at the time. Super, he wants to learn about nature. Let's start from the basics, shall we?
Fungi.
And he strolls along and lets you go off about fungi.
I'm like, well, unbeknownst to a lot of people, fungus actually has a lot to do with what life is today. And so you see fungi all over the place, and like I'm like going into this whole thing. There's actually a really great documentary that I will find there's dude, fungus and mushrooms are like it's incredible. Like the amount of shit that is like you could uncover from that shit.
I know the same documentary, and Aster comes back and says, and that is why Super is such a fun guy.
Are fungi poisonous?
But yeah, no, like fungus is like a fundamental thing, and it connects us all and all this stuff.
Can it hurt someone?
It can.
Friendly. That's what's amazing about it is like fungi has the potential to be extremely detrimental and poisonous, and it could kill you like within an hour. But if you find the other type of fungi, it can nourish you.
I don't want the nourished kind. I want the poison kind. Can you teach me something poison?
Okay.
Aster rolls his eyes and kind of walks away from you all.
Hey, Aster.
Like, teach me a fungi spray.
A fungi spray? Well, I guess if I used the same kind of cantrip for like these magic stones, I suppose I could, in theory, transfer that energy into like a fungus instead of a stone into a mushroom. And if it's a poisonous mushroom, I suppose I could throw that and then it explode into like a poisonous cloud, potentially.
So as you guys are working out the mechanics, an acid spray or fungus spray of sorts, a poison spray, even. You all manage, and we will find this out in a second, to get a little lost. Show.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
You sound much better. Aster comes over to you. Yes, troll.
Aster, I don't know if we told you, but we found a scroll deep down inside of the caves under Ironton. That was written by a bunch of magicians, I think, to contain some sort of evil. Seems like something you might know about.
Oh, yes, indeed. I've been a little bashful with you all. Not telling you everything, but I've come across a piece of parchment left at my house from Egbert. It says, you've all been tested and stand true. The ignorance of your knowledge for Ireland's history is but stifling you all. Stifling you to what is needed now. The fruit's not ripe, but is required to be plucked, for there are scourges in the garden Now I realize Egbert is a little weird in the verbiage he uses, but I think it says more or less to take you under our wing, for the island itself is in great turmoil. You are the heroes of Ironton, but I hope you and Egbert hopes you to be much more. You see, Show, long ago the Ministry of Mages came together as a stone beneath this island was identified. It is here amongst this turmoil that they decided to construct a mighty crypt. In truth, this is what Mithril Peak protects. It's a prison for one most powerful being, locked away behind doors of puzzles, sacrifice. I've continued to tell you that in this tomb, this evil must be held. The only pass was to disconnect time itself from around her. This fountain, this host of evil, in which rivers of evil flow from, the source itself. Legends speak that the corruptions of dragons spewed from this individual. The Titans itself seemed to be puppets in her scheme, a cancer that spread. According to the ministry, at least, she is the source. They have imprisoned her here on this island. This is why I am in such a distress. When you talk about wizards and witches and Julia, I feel like we are not quite touching on the scope of what is at risk here. Egbert has gone to help a friend, Eno, which I fear in this time has sacrificed himself into this island to become part of it, to hold it together for just long enough for us to pick up the pieces and maybe stop whatever's happening from happening. I don't know how the rest of your party would feel about undertaking such a journey. But you have only skinned your knees. We need all the help we can get.
Was Aster talking to everybody or just
Just to show.
What does Julian stand to gain?
I have no idea. To be honest, Alabas has just been a place of residence for me. A place where I can meet Egbert. It seems that it has all gone sour in my residence as well.
Well,
Annexed, in a way. I have spent much time in the woods, and I only come back to Egbert and Shoreshack, where he lives. Well, after they've imprisoned me, I realized there's something sour going on, and I had prayed and hoped that it was just that of political being. But hearing you all gripe about Julian, the things he's doing with the road, the coincidence that it goes directly to the mountain, I feel like there is well, to steal words, a greater dragon, and that he is only ahead. There's something beneath this island I wish to tell you the scope of completely, but I feel like the words escape me to divulge. Also, I must tell you, Sho, I do not know any of this for sure. This is just hearsay of what we, the druids of this island, have been tasked to do. It's to protect something that might destroy this world if unlocked.
That makes sense. I was down there where they were all meeting. They seemed to want to let something evil loose. Couldn't tell what it was. That would make as much sense as anything else. Either way, they need to be stopped. I think that the heroes of Ironton would absolutely be interested in this kind of a mission. If I know them, they will recklessly risk themselves in the interest of adventure every time. But who knows? Maybe this one's too dangerous.
Well, it's a daunting future, but sacrifice is necessary. I can tell Xander has some ties to this, and the sacrifice he laid down. I know a lot about what Super quests for here. And Eno knows even more. He has been groomed for the time he's been on this island to be ready for the inheritance of such a power of a seed that will rescue his people. I am sad to say that there's probably some conflict, for Eno was the holder of such a seed. And Egbert has gone to find Eno, who has sacrificed himself, merged with this island. I don't know what's happened to the seed that Super wants, but it ties Super closer to whatever this quest that we might find ourselves in.
Well, the hag showed us a seed. I don't know if it was an illusion or not.
Only Eno would know for sure.
And where is Eno?
He has sorrow that just kind of overcomes his face. There had been a sign, a warning that came to Egbert that when things are broken beneath this island, there's a ripcord, if you will. Have you heard of parachutes? There's this whole apparatus, and there's this cord that rips, and it really makes this metaphor land. But Eno had a way to sacrifice himself to hold this island together if Mithril Peak was breached. You see, Mithril Peak is not just a hold to ore or riches. Mithril Peak is the entrance to this tomb I tell you about, and there are 12 puzzles. Not just of wit, but of character. Similar to what you had just faced reviving your friends. In fact, that old relic, the magic within, was a ground of inspiration for the ministry as they designed this crypt, this tomb, this prison. We found recently that many of these puzzles have been cracked. And that is why the surface of this island has been boiling. Something's going on underneath. Beyond that, I cannot tell you, but I fear. I fear it is to break open this crypt, this prison, and release the ferocity of what evil essence exists.
Who stands guard over the crypt?
All the druids of this island. And the puzzles that the Ministry of Magic and mages had put together to block it. It is being eroded from beneath this lands, though, which was never sought, or which was never foresought by these mages, nor the druids of this island, and that is what I fear is happening here.
So Gloria goes after the mages, and Julian takes care of the druids, and then they get into Mithril Peak. Wow. Is there someone up at Mithril Peak right now?
I believe that is where Eno went off to.
Hmm.
But there is no standing guard, if you will. The wild of this island has been guard enough to anyone approaching. That and the armaments of Ironton, the armament of the orcs out west, have stopped anyone from going close. It seems that Julian seems to be approaching from the east. And in the past, I had hoped it was only for monetary gain. I am no longer that naive. There is something going here. But in order to bring Ironton to it, we need more concrete proof.
A pox on Ironton's concrete proof. Haven't the heroes of Ironton brought enough proof? Didn't their delegation into the mountains find enough proof?
Does the king
I feel
know?
like we need to have an audience with the king. I should hope that the king would know. We were reporting back on our king phone, Rock.
Yeah,
I
we
was under
called
the
the
impression that we need to speak with the king. I think that we should try and get together a meeting between the orcs and the dwarves, and then bring orcs and dwarves in to Mithril Peak in order to make sure that the defenses are secure.
Something needs to happen, that is for sure.
I hope they have enough evidence, but we need to, I guess, talk to the king again to figure that one out.
I have some evidence as well. That is for sure. An audience of king might not make, well, just this episode, well, just this day. But I believe it is what we're all longing for. I hope you have enough evidence about you and your party. At some point when we make camp tonight, you go about and you tell them what I've said. See if it's what they want to undertake. For it seems like the stars are aligning with the goals of at least a few individuals of this party. I'm not sure for all. But it is safe to say you have come here for a reason. And just
That's
that.
one thing I haven't thought.
The wolves kind of come around you much closer than you have heard for some time.
Is it getting dark?
It is dusk right now in twilight.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and set up camp.
And Xander, you have been distracted a little bit, learning the ways of the fun guys. And within this, might not know exactly where it is that you have found yourself, but the wolves have come much closer than show who was on watch. And Xander, you would have realized being distracted by the teachings of Super. You go to set up camp, and there are wolves in every direction of you. You have not seen them in sight, but in sound, you are witty in the woods enough to know that they are just beyond the brush. Ahead, to the left, to the right, and behind you. You scramble to set up camp.
Gentlemen, light fires. Let me set up the dome. I need time. Keep them at bay.
Will do.
And that is where we will end tonight's episode of Shore Shack Adventures. Surrounded by wolves and in the midst of all of this shit that we have set up. Well, I've set up, I guess. See you next time.